Okay, wow, what a week. So Luna, as you guys may or may not know, crashed this week basically to zero. And I have a personal story to share, and I think there's some things that I can share with people to maybe help them out going forward. But really quick before we dig into it, speculation here as to what actually happened. So none of this is provable, but this is what I've been hearing at least on Twitter and other places as to what maybe would have happened. So we've got hedge funds that borrowed 100,000 Bitcoin. Then they trade that 25,000 Bitcoin for UST. And rumor has it they actually went straight to Terra to make that transaction. So they got their hands on about 825 million of UST, and they start dumping that on the market, which caused UST to depeg. And I would guess that's about 5% of the market cap of UST at the time. And at the same time, they started dumping some of that 75,000 Bitcoin on the market, causing Bitcoin to drop. So once confidence is shaken in that stable coin, that really causes a big problem and a downward spiral because other people start jumping on and starting to dump their UST on the market, and it's just a cycling effect. So overall market starts to crash, including Bitcoin. Efforts to restore the peg were nowhere near enough. And the raiders are able to buy back the Bitcoin and pay back the loan and pocket the difference, which they're guessing is around $1 billion. And this all happened over the course of 1 to 2 days. All right, so I said I had a personal story. So I did have a position in Luna, and I've been holding it for quite some time. So in September 2020, came across Luna. It was a recommendation in a publication that I subscribed to. Made a couple of buys. Average price was about 28 cents. So it trended along for a few months, and then something crazy started happening in February of 2021. On February 6th, it hit 10x my original price. So at that time, I sold 10%. So basically, my initial investment was off the table at that time, and I sold that position into Bitcoin. And then on February 7th, the next day, it doubled again. So I sold 5% more, and and then on February 11th, it doubled again. So I sold 5% more. Then on February 16th, the publication that originally recommended Luna to me recommended selling everything. But I kind of paused and said, whoa, this seems like there's something more here than I'm understanding. So what I wound up doing as a compromise is I sold half of what I had left, you know. And so I figured I'm just going to let the rest ride. So I was holding on KuCoin at the time, but by then the amount I had on there was more than I was comfortable leaving on an exchange. So I started learning about Terra Station, which was the wallet for Terra and basically any coin in the Terra ecosystem. And I started doing things like staking and getting the airdrops and all that kind of stuff. So continuing on, we get to the summer of 2021. Well, basically about May of 2021. Luna dropped with the rest of the market. So I think it was like the high at the time was 17, dropped down to 4. And I would listen to other people's opinions. So Invest Answers was one of the YouTubers that I listened to that was negative on Luna at the time. So I took that and just kind of thought about it a little bit, and then by the end of the summer, the it started rising again. And by December, I think it was almost up to 100. And then something happened was in January of 2021, Invest Answers changes his opinion on Luna and starts buying, which had an effect on me because I'm like, wow, now other people that were negative on it are starting to jump on this. And then in March of 2021, the newsletter that originally recommended Luna to me said they regretted selling all of it. And they actually changed their strategy to hold at least 10% of all holdings that moon like this. So that also kind of had an effect on me. And they also had recommended two other Luna ecosystem projects at the time, Astro and Apollo. And then shortly after that, LFG starts buying Bitcoin to back Terra, which seemed like a really, really interesting and a good move that would really back the stable coin. So, you know, basically my confidence in the project was basically higher at that time than ever. And then comes May 10th. So we start to see some things going on in the market. So we've got the UST peg breaks, which at first didn't seem like a huge deal, but as it continued to drop, um, then it began getting a lot of people's attention. And it had gone down and then it started to rise. So at that time I thought, well, maybe they're going to be able to pull it off and get the peg back. But then in the early evening, uh, it started headed down again, and at that point, I realized that I think the party's over. So I did some of the things I did right where I didn't stake everything. I had some left, kind of on the side just so that I could sell very quickly because when you're staking Luna, it's got a 21-day lockup, which is an eternity when something like this is going on. So I thought, well, I'm going to sell what I can at this time. So I had previously actually transferred some of that over to Celsius, and I swapped that out. And I think I was able to swap it out at I think it was seven trades, sitting about 17 at the time. Um, so that's what I did. I had some other that was in my Terra Station wallet, and I sent it over, but I wasn't able to get it there fast enough. It took all night to transfer, probably because the network was very busy. So it took overnight, and it wasn't. By the time I got there, I think it was down to maybe $2. At that point, I just thought it's not even worth it. And there wasn't that much anyway. So that's kind of stuck there. I had unstaked what I had, but like I said, it takes 21 days. So whatever was in staking is pretty much probably going to be gone. Um, and that's kind of where things left. So, not a horror story by any means, because I did start selling, way back in 2021 when the price had gone up. And I think all total, I probably made 20 times what I put into it. But obviously, it was worth a lot more than that at one time. So, but here you just got to kind of what's done is done. Got to take a look at it and see, kind of try and learn from your mistakes and try and figure out what you did right. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so things I did right. I made a small investment. We're talking in the hundreds of dollars in a very risky crypto project. So I didn't stick my neck out too far. I had a scale out plan and I executed it. So I knew that once I got to that 10x, I was going to start selling, get my original investment off the table, and then I continued with it. I did not stake the entire token balance, so I was somewhat prepared for to take quick action when I needed to. And I avoided continuing to pile on after it went up. It's very tempting to keep throwing it in. Oh, maybe I should just put everything in this. No, you don't want to do that. And I made my own decisions. And those decisions weren't necessarily right all along the way, but I can live with it because I'm the one who made those decisions. All right, and here's some things I didn't do right. So I did not anticipate how fast this could all fall apart. So I was unable to even sell some of the tokens that I had unstaked because I couldn't transfer them out fast enough. The network was congested, took all night, and by the time they transferred, couldn't really couldn't really do much. I also should have continued to sell more even after the 60% was sold of the original position. What you need to take into account is you probably have to take a target portfolio percentage for risky positions like this and then keep it under that and just keep selling. So whatever it is, if it's 1%, 2%, don't go over 5% in any case. And just stay there, just keep selling as it reaches that percentage of the portfolio. And then you just control the risk. and I had too much confidence. So no matter how good things look, to continue to look for problems. And lastly, loaned out my crypto. So again, how was this all possible? It's all possible because they were able to borrow the Bitcoin. Um, so, an analogy that I've been thinking about is that I basically loaned out a hammer for somebody to hit me over the head with it, and then throw me a few bucks for the trouble at the end. I feel like I actually gave them the ammo. So I'm reassessing, keeping crypto on platforms that pay yield, uh, or minimally. What I'm going to wind up doing here is reducing the amount I have there significantly. I may keep some on there just to be able to trade and swap and things like that, but definitely going to reduce the amount that's available, because I really feel like, uh, I gave ammo. I gave them the ammo. They went out, they loaned it, and if they didn't have it there, or if there wasn't as much, they would have minimally had to pay more, to borrow. But it's the yield rates have been dropping because everybody's so hyped up on lending out their crypto and getting the yield now. And just the other thing I would point out is that crypto has been the first opportunity for us to actually take custody and take this away from them. If you're trading in the stock market, and you're trading on your brokerage account, they're able to do these same things in that market. They basically can borrow your stock holdings without you don't even get anything there unless you're like, a big investor and a big account, and they'll actually offer you, in some cases, some of that interest back that they're getting on the borrowed, in their case, the borrowed stock. So this is going on in TradFi as well as in crypto. Um, and and like I said, this is the first opportunity for us to just take control of it and put it where they can't get to it. So that's it. That's my story. I really hope that this will help someone going forward. If someone's new, they're just getting in. I think there's some lessons here. I think there's a lot of value. I hope you guys like the video. Consider subscribing, and if you have a similar story, I'd love to hear it too. And I'm very sorry for anyone who uh, has a worse story than me. And I know there's a lot of people out there that really got hurt by this, and it's very unfortunate. But we can only move forward. We can't go back. Talk to you later.